Hello and welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is Motor Mike Media, and as always, I'm Motor Mike. Now, today we'll be talking about the 2021 Alfa Romeo Stelvio as well as the Giulia. Now, I personally like the Giulia more. You can let me know in the comments below which one of the two you like better. But both these vehicles are so similar, that's why I lumped them together. They share so many components. They're overall very similar vehicles. But all the images I'm using today, all the credit goes to Alfa Romeo, their photos. But we'll start with the Giulia first, and we'll start with styling, because that's what makes an Alfa an Alfa. Now, some people love the front end, some people absolutely hate it. But you can't deny that when you're out there in public and you see that front end, you can't mistake it for anything else. An Alfa is an Alfa. Now, the front end, aggressive. I like the headlights, how they swoop around. They have a mean, sinister look, and that Alfa grille. And the front bumper, together they all work together to have this slightly classy but aggressive vehicle. Now going to the side profile. Side profile is pretty nice. The body lines are nice and sleek. Nothing too crazy or too aggressive here. But the rims, depending on what trim you pick, there's a lot of wheels to choose from, and a lot of them stand out quite well, looking pretty aggressive or even slick. Going to the rear end. Taillights, pretty simple, but I like how they look. And on higher trims, you get a much more aggressive rear bumper with dual exhausts. Let that nice V6 turbo sound amazing. I love dual exhaust on anything, but especially if that dual exhaust has an amazing sound from it. Overall, the exterior, it's sleek and aggressive. You can't mistake it for anything else. And that's what makes it a very interesting car. If you have this vehicle, no one's going to think you have a BMW or Mercedes, and you're kind of exclusive. They don't sell very many Alfa Romeos in general, so if you have one of these vehicles, you truly do stand out, just like the vehicle. Now going into the interior. Now, some people think the interior is just alright. I like it more than most people, but regardless of that, over the few years that they've been here, they've been doing their best to add things, whether it be improving material quality, adding a little bit more tech and features to it, because these are very expensive vehicles. Basically, they start around $40,000 and go up into the 80+ thousands. But regardless of that, both these vehicles share the same dash, and in my opinion, it's quite handsome. Yes, on the higher trims you do get better materials, and on the lower trims, there's more plastic than you would probably want from a very expensive vehicle. But yeah, they share some parts bins with FCA in general, so some of the switchgear is from FCA, but the majority of it is their higher quality switchgear. Now when you sit down, that Alfa Romeo steering wheel, nicely leather wrapped, looks good, and depending on what trim you get, it's more aggressive with a bigger D-shaped or a flat bottom with some more signature stuff on there. But the buttons, they feel good, they look good. I love that start-stop button right there on the steering wheel. Overall, it's very nice. The paddles right behind there, as well as your volume controls there too. It's overall, having the majority of your controls right there at your fingertips is a very nice thing to have. Now the gauge cluster in front of you, analog gauges to the sides with a little helper screen in the middle. Yes, it doesn't have a full digital display like a lot of its competition does, but the analog gauges are very sporty, and that's a little bit more old school. I know some older people would appreciate that, but the helper screen does have some good information for you. Now going to your infotainment screen. Now it's the 8.8-inch, it's basically a Uconnect system, just changed up to look more Alfa Romeo-like. Like I said, they share a lot of parts with FCA, but it's a good system. Easy to use, easy to learn. And the good thing about it is you can just drag and drop things around to kind of personalize it to you, so you have a lot of your main things that you're going to use on occasion right there. Below there, the climate controls. Always good to see hard touch buttons. They feel pretty decent. And like I said, on different trims, you can get the leather on top of the dash with stitching, or it'll be soft touch materials. But the lower part of the dash, for the most part, is harder touch plastics and stuff like that. Now going down, you have your gear lever. No manual transmission, I'm sorry. It's an 8-speed ZF designed transmission. It's on a lot of FCA products. It's very good. It's very quick shifting. But right there you have your DNA shifter. Now, what's your DNA shifter? It's basically a knob you turn for your modes. It's your drive mode selector. And on the Giulia and the Stelvio, they both have that. But on the Quattropolio, which is their high performance version, you also have your dampened suspension button there as well as a more aggressive mode for track use. Overall, in my opinion, the interior, it's nice, it's quirky, it's different. Yes, it doesn't have some of the higher quality materials you'll find in a Mercedes or a BMW or an Audi, but it does a very good job of giving you a great first impression, as well as giving you all the basics you need, while having this nice Italian wrapping on it. Between the exterior and the interior, it really does stand out amongst a sea of kind of boring vehicles, as well as other vehicles that are just a little bit too tech-heavy, in my opinion. Now, going over to its sibling, the Stelvio. Basically, the Stelvio is a elongated, stretched out Giulia, to be honest with you. Same platform, everything's just enhanced. Front end, same styling as everything, just enhanced. It's aggressive, very handsome. Now the side profile, that's where you truly see, hey, this is a crossover now. It looks pretty good. It has a little bit more of a slope to the rear end to give it more of a sportier look. Yeah, a lot of the sportier crossovers have the same similar silhouette, but you have very nice body lines and very nice rims as well to make it stand out. The rear end, it actually looks pretty good. Most crossovers, I'm not the biggest fan of the rear ends, but because it has a lot of the Giulia stuff on it, it looks very good, very sporty. And like I said, if you get the Quattropolio, you get those dual exhausts that really sound great. And you can get all-wheel drive on this vehicle. Now, people are going to buy crossovers because that's the big trend here in America. And when they brought the Stelvio here, it became one of their best sellers. Yes, between both of them, there's not very many here in the United States, but they're still great vehicles. Now, what powers them? Well, on the lower trims, you're basically getting a 4-cylinder turbo. And don't knock it for being a 4-cylinder. You're still getting 280 horsepower and 306 pound-feet of torque. It's peppy, it's pretty smooth, and you can't go wrong there. If you want to get one of these two vehicles, that's probably the one you're going to find the most of because that's the one that's the volume seller. But it's still a very peppy, very performance-oriented engine. Now, the Quattropolio, that's a true performer right there. Yes, there's not going to be very many on the used market right now. But if you have the money for a new one or for a used one, that's the one to get. You get that great sound. You get the extra little performance things, the little bit better seats. They're more bolstering on the sides to hold you in. A little bit better material quality inside. A little bit more aggressive styling on the exterior, as well as unique rims. For 2021, for both these vehicles, they added a few more colors to kind of make them pop out and stand out. And some of the colors, they're actually growing on me. They really do stand out. But when you get that Quattropolio, you are truly in a class of your own. Like I said, these vehicles, there's not very many of them, so if you have one in general, you do stand out. But a Quattropolio, you're going to be very quick. That engine, 0 to 60 is like 3.8 seconds. It sounds great. You have 443 pound-feet of torque and 505 horsepower. That thing is seriously powerful. It sounds great, and that's the one I would get if I had the money. But I want to know your guys' opinion. Between the two, what would you get? Do you like sedans more, or do you want a crossover? More room for your family, more room for cargo. I totally understand if you want the Stelvio more, but I like the Giulia. A little bit smaller, a little bit more compact. You're not going to have that body roll, and it's a great performer. I know that they don't have a great reputation here in America. Basically, any Italian car here has a reputation of being lackluster when it comes to reliability. But these vehicles, you're different, you stand out, they're quirky. I would take that risk if you do want to be someone that stands out. Because a lot of people, you see a sea of BMWs or a sea of Mercedes and you're just one of those people. But if you have one of these, you're kind of unique and interesting. But let me know, which of the two do you like better? What do you like about them? What don't you like about them? And if you haven't already, check out my channel. I keep trying to give you more and more information, more and more content, whether it be cars, trucks, SUVs, gas, or EV. And please, like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. That way you guys can stay up to date with the latest and greatest from my channel. And I truly appreciate you guys for watching. And I'll see you all in the next one.